What if I told you that one of Britain's most elegant and forgotten luxury sedans from the 1960s could be reborn today, not by Jaguar, not by Rolls-Royce, but by one man, the engineering wizard himself, Allen Millyard? Yes, the same guy who hand-built a V12 Kawasaki motorcycle in his garage, using nothing but sheer genius, patience, and a few tools that looked like they were stolen from Iron Man's workshop. Now imagine Millyard laying his hands on the Humber Imperial V8, a car once admired for its royal luxury, yet buried in history's dust. If he decided to rebuild it, the result wouldn't just be a car. It would be an engineering event. But before we unleash what this modern beast could look like under Millyard's touch, let's take a quick dive into what made the original Humber Imperial V8 so special in the first place. Oh, and before we continue, smash that subscribe button like you're tightening a Millyard torque wrench. Because we're just getting warmed up, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Back in the 1960s, when British motoring was at its peak of charm and class, the Humber Imperial was the unsung hero of executive luxury. It was a car for gentlemen, the kind that came with a chauffeur, leather gloves, and a pipe. Under its long, elegant hood sat a V8 engine that was smooth, quiet, and refined, built not for speed demons, but for people who wanted to glide silently through the streets like royalty. It featured plush interiors, wood veneer dashboards, thick carpets, and a suspension system that made even the worst British potholes feel like gentle waves on a calm lake. Yet, despite its charm, the Imperial couldn't keep up with the modern tide. Brands like Jaguar and Rover stole the spotlight, and Humber faded into obscurity. But what if that old British luxury got a second chance, a resurrection, with Millyard's hands crafting every bolt and piston? Well, that's where things start to get crazy, because the way Millyard could re-engineer this engine will blow your mind, and we'll get to that in just a second. Before we rebuild the Imperial, let's talk about the magician himself, Allen Millyard. This is a man who doesn't follow blueprints. He creates them from scratch. He's built everything from a 5.0-litre V12 Kawasaki to a V-twin Honda that purrs like a sleeping dragon. His workshop isn't some corporate lab. It's literally his backyard garage, where engines are hand-filed, cases are welded with surgical precision, and entire motorcycles are born from metal blocks. He doesn't just restore, he reinvents. Every Millyard project is a perfect blend of engineering madness and mechanical poetry. So now, imagine this man looking at the Humber Imperial V8 and saying, yeah, let's give it a bit more power. That's like Picasso looking at a blank canvas and saying, let's paint the Mona Lisa again, but with turbochargers. And trust me, what Millyard could do to this car would rewrite its legacy completely. Because in the next section, we'll look at how the Imperial's old 3.0 lighter heart could be reborn into something monstrous. And it's not what you think. The original Humber Imperial's V8 was calm and composed, about 137 horsepower. That's cute. But Millyard doesn't do cute. If he rebuilt it today, you can bet that engine would be reborn as a hand-built masterpiece. Forged pistons, custom crankcase, dual fuel injection, titanium valves, the full Millyard treatment. Picture this. A 5.5-litre naturally aspirated V8 producing 500 horsepower, but still maintaining the buttery smooth refinement that defined the Imperial. He could even craft it as a hybrid mechanical work of art, using his motorcycle engineering experience to reduce weight drastically. The result? A 1960s luxury sedan that accelerates like a modern AMG, yet hums like a symphony. And knowing Millyard, he might even decide to hand-carve the exhaust headers himself. So each pipe sings its own unique note. The kind of exhaust tone that could make car enthusiasts cry tears of joy. But the engine is just the beginning, because when Millyard gets to the chassis, things take an even wilder turn. The Humber Imperial was known for comfort, not cornering. But Millyard doesn't settle for good enough. He'd likely build a custom lightweight space-frame chassis, integrating aluminum and carbon composites to keep the old-school body intact while giving it formula-like rigidity. The suspension? He'd engineer an adaptive system. Think of it as Rolls-Royce comfort with Aston Martin precision. Millyard could blend old craftsmanship with new physics, creating a balance between nostalgia and performance. Even the steering system could be overhauled. From heavy hydraulic to ultra-precise electronic assist, all hand-calibrated. And the best part? He'd make it look original. That's Millyard's trademark. The car would appear vintage on the outside, but every inch beneath the skin would scream 21st century engineering. And wait till you hear what he could do to the car's design, because this next part might just make Rolls-Royce jealous. If Millyard were to rebuild the Humber Imperial V8, he wouldn't destroy its British character. He'd elevate it. Picture that long, elegant body, restored to perfection, but now enhanced with subtle aerodynamic tweaks, hidden air vents, active grille shutters, and flush door handles. The chrome would shine like liquid silver under sunlight. Inside, it would be pure British elegance reborn. Real walnut trim, diamond-stitched leather, and analog-digital hybrid gauges that look like art pieces. A hand-built dashboard that nods to the past but speaks to the future. And knowing Millyard, he'd throw in some quirky craftsmanship. Maybe a self-winding clock powered by engine vibration, or a shifter milled from a single block of billet aluminum. Luxury, performance, and artistry fused into one. But hold up, because if Millyard really went full throttle, there's one modification that could make this car legendary forever. Allen Millyard's builds always have a signature twist, something no one expects. And for the Humber Imperial V8, that could be an electric assist system, built by hand. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. Imagine a stealth mode Imperial. 1 minute, it's gliding silently on electric power through the city. The next, it's roaring down open roads on all 8 cylinders. A dual-soul masterpiece, smooth, sustainable, and still completely mechanical in spirit. He could even make the car modular, allowing the engine to detach and display like a museum piece. Something only a genius like Millyard would think of. It wouldn't just be a rebuilt car. It would be history revived through innovation. And let's be real. If this project ever happened, the Humber name might just rise from the ashes. So what if Allen Millyard rebuilt the Humber Imperial V8? He wouldn't just create a car. He'd create a legacy, one that connects British luxury's golden past with today's engineering brilliance. From the handcrafted engine to the reimagined chassis and futuristic interior, it would be a masterpiece that no factory could ever mass-produce. And honestly, knowing Millyard's attention to detail, he'd probably make only one. Just one perfect Humber Imperial V8, built not for fame or money, but for pure passion. That's what sets him apart. He doesn't build machines. He builds stories made of steel and soul. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Millyard's potential rebuild, Then smash that like button harder than a piston at Redline. Subscribe to AB Tech Lab and stay tuned, because we've got even more mind-bending what-if builds coming soon.
Thanks for watching.